So guys, let's take a look at this. So I made a few updates to this. Well, only one update, but there's big news in this video that I want to show off as well. So before we begin, I want to look at this rent payment added. So to make sure that I know that I have the money available for the following month, I'll look at this. Without deducting it from this $896 from one of these, I've added $495, which is the bare minimum for my rent, on each one of these. And it tells me how much it would cost, how much the balance would be on my card after I did it. Wait. What is that minus? Should be plus. Yeah. So this is what it would look like. Of course, that doesn't apply to a firm because that's pay later. Buy now, pay later. So it doesn't apply to the. Hang on. I had to set something down that was vibrating on my desk. So we got all that out of the way. There's been a change, and it's probably because I paid off that Capital One that I did yesterday. As you can see, it's $974 now, but that's no big deal. We've already paid that thing off in full. If it had to spend this month and I wasn't able to pay off that $400, I wouldn't have been able, be able to pay off that $1,100 with that extra $400. I wouldn't have been able to pay that off. So yeah, I wouldn't have. I'd be stuck. So, but there's been a change, and I actually was approved for a new credit card, and it's probably because I paid off that Capital One card in full, and one of the offers I got was from Capital One. And I know how hard Capital One can get it. And I thought at first they were going to deny me because I'm at 68% utilization rate. And I was like, they're not going to give me a good card, or they're not going to approve me at all. Capital One is difficult. And $1,000, I would at least need $1,000 credit limit. I was like, oh man, there's no way they're going to give me that. But they just happened. It's Capital One Venture One, and it has a $1,000 limit on it. So that changes things because, let me extend the sizing of this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Oh, you do it. That's right, you do it from up here. So if I do, this changes things a bit. So if I did this, I'm not gonna add that yet, but we see these 2 months right here. Well, because I got $800 already, I can add this to this at the top. Now, granted, I still have to have $400, but that can come out of this. So, now, write this down, make some notes, because I'm about to speak really fast here. So, next what happens is this gets added to 1,696. However, because I can do this, equals sum subtract 955, I get 740. However, I can buy another month, another 2 months. So what that would do is this would remain here, but then this And this is all in 1 month. So then what I would have left is, let me see, I might confuse myself here if I do this. So that's how much I would have left over from these two coming together. 740. So we do plus another 400, 1,140. So that gives me the $400 in rent, but it gives me hang on, that doesn't sound right. Okay, I see what I'm doing now. I have to think 2 months in advance, not just this month, but the next month after. Oh man, that's a little. It is complicated trying it doing like this. Okay, I'm just gonna skip. So let's say, okay, so $800 there. Now, if I had another $100, another 400, that would be $1,257 because 400 times 3 is 1,200 or 1,200. So that gets added, and now when you add that, it gets added to 2,096. Okay, then this gets paid off. Let me think. So I have 800 now. That. I know this gets paid off. That's the first thing that has to get paid off. So let me think. So this would drop to 1. Yeah, 1297. Now you could make it 1,600 and take it out of cash for the. Well, no, you'd have to. Okay, so this would be in August. August would have this. So you're paying double. 8. Hang on. Hang on, I gotta think about this for a second. Alright, so I figured it out. So, now I have $800 in cash. So, if I go into August and take it out of this $955, then I still have rent for that $400. I get the full $800, but I buy $800, then I get $400 for rent, okay? But because this is already paid off, because you can do that twice, because it's already paid off, I can go ahead and buy another $955 worth of $800 next month. So that would be, now I could deduct $400 from this, but we're gonna see how this looks. So I have another $800, and so that's 8 plus 4 is what? That's $1,200 in cash, right? For next month. So I got 800. So we have to add these all together. So what number is that? Oops. Wait. No. It's $2,000. Okay. Plus that. Well, we're gonna also add the $839. So, but of this, of the $839, this has to be paid off because it's coming out of the income. But we can add that two together. That's no problem. So it's $2,839. Now, let's do minus. Remember, we gotta hit this first, and this is September. This is Well, no, this isn't September. September's coming later. So now that gives us 1,883 to spend on debt. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do this one minus this one minus this one. Let's see. So let me make sure that's not a negative, because it might be. Just making sure. 545. Don't really care about the cents. Plus 974 equals 1,519. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it is 3,000. So I am ahead on this one. So that's cash left over. So the following month we'll have this. That would be what it has for $800. But we got 363. So for September, we actually moved this up over here. So this is how much we would have left over. Oops. Probably have to do that. What is it? 3. I'll just copy that. Paste that right here. And then the next month I have $1,202. But that's what these both cards are paid off. Both of this is paid off. Then we go sum, subtract that, 246. So with this paid off and that paid off, I have $246 left. And this paid off. So I have, these three cards have no balance on them. But I would really like, what I might do, I really want to try to get this one paid down. Well, we can, actually, because I can pull out another 955.95 out of it, which would, let's remove this, which in September would be, well, 246.07, 246.07 plus, well, sometimes I use some, sometimes I don't. But if we did that, then we add $400 is 646. So that could go against this. Yeah, that'd take a big chunk out of it too. So yeah, because next month in August, that means that I pay off this card, and this card all at once. So that's 3 credit cards paid off in 1 month, with 2 of them being Capital Ones. And then the next one, it gets reduced to, actually what I might do is I might just pay off this. How much money do I have? Okay, that 529.12 would be, that would be enough to cover this Affirm. But I don't think that's a very good idea. I want to get on this Capital One. Yeah, I'd be ahead definitely if I did this. I like it. So yeah, I'll get started on that as soon as possible. I might be able to do it today. But yeah, tomorrow I might deposit this money into the bank and get started on that. And I think that's a really great idea. So yeah, that's it's still Operation Flywheel, and it works. It works. Actually, let's visualize that before I guess. So we have this card, this card. Now, of course, that's for my groceries, so I'm going to still have to use Capital One Platinum. But the Capital One Venture 1, that one pays the rent. Right? So we get these two paid down. And then I only have 1,520. Well, and then we get that paid down in 570. Yeah, I definitely have this. It's 2 times faster than it would usually be. Because I was expecting this to be done by December. Maybe at the minimum. So now I can have all my debts paid in October. Or early November. So yeah, it definitely, I think it's more like October it gets paid off. The only thing I have to worry about is this card. As long as this card is close to paid off, less than, I would say maybe around $800, I'd say I'm debt free at this point because, the $900, all this stuff, because you don't have all those cards, this doesn't apply anymore. So 906, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can do this. And I haven't been doing that. But either way, it's no problem. Let me see. Let me add that. Just be sure. 596. Yeah, that could definitely pay off that. But I would like to get for that saver card. Because, of course, 906 can pay a firm the next month. Plus the amount I have in groceries on my other credit card. Yeah, completely debt free at that point. But yeah, we'll keep track of this. Minus 25, minus 42. Yeah. Definitely. Oh, wait. Hang on. I needed to go the other way. Actually, we could go all backwards. Oops. That's a little too far. It's a little too far, guys. Oh, well. But anyways, it works. Hang on. Yeah, this is what it used to look like. This looked complicated to me and it didn't really apply to me. So I just removed these columns. So yeah, this is what you were looking at before. So at this point, if I do this, then I'll have 1 month reserved. Where is this coming from? Oh, let's remove that. 881. Looks right to me. Capital One. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think we can do this. I think it's possible. So guys, I'll end it here. I just wanted to show that. Oh wait, hang on. Just caught this. Move this aligned to left. Alright. Now, it looks right now. So yeah, guys, I'll end it here, and I hope that this helps you prepare, and maybe you'll use this too. It'd be nice if this was an app. If you could put things together like that, and it can calculate your best, most efficient debts and all that. I like it. So yeah. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.